To know what the law of cosines is, we must first understand what is a cosine. The cosine function, along with sine and tangent, is one of the three most common trigonomic functions. In any right triangle, the cosine of an angle is the length of the adjacent side divided by the length of the hypotenuse. In a formula, it is simply written as cos. As an example, let's say we want to find the cosine of an angle C in the figure 1. From the formula above, we know that the cosine of an angle is the adjacent side divided by the hypotenuse. The adjacent side is BC and has a length of 26. The hypotenuse is AC with the length of 30, so we can write 26 over 30 equals the cosine.
This division on the calculator comes out to 0.866, so we can say the cosine of 30 degrees is 0.866, or the next formula. Use your calculator to find the cosine of 30 degrees. It should come out to 0.8660 as above. If it doesn't, make sure the calculator is set to work in degrees and not radians.
The law of cosines is used to find the remaining sides or angles of a non-right-angled triangle. It can only be used when all the sides are given. This is to find an angle in the triangle corresponding to a certain variable, or when two sides and an angle opposite to the side you're looking for are given. The law of cosines is formed by the following variables: a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cos a, b squared equals a squared plus c squared minus 2ac times cos b, c squared equals a squared plus b squared minus 2ab times cos c, if the information provided is two sides and an angle, or cos c equals a squared plus b squared minus c squared over 2ab. Cos a equals b squared plus c squared minus a squared over 2bc. Cos b equals c squared plus a squared minus b squared over 2ca, if the information provided are the three sides, each depending on what information is provided in the non-right-angled triangle.
The law of cosines has 5 basic uses: electrical currents, to know how the voltage is going; radio broadcasting, to know in which frequency it should go; low and high tides of the ocean; highways and buildings. These are to know how firm is the structure. Let's solve a problem. Scientists in Houston are trying to figure out the distance from a satellite to Cape Canaveral. They know that the satellite is 530 miles away from Houston at an 85 angle of elevation, and Houston and Cape Canaveral in a straight line from one to the other are 902 miles apart. How far is the satellite from Cape Canaveral? As we have seen before, the way of calculating the cosine is dividing the adjacent side by the hypotenuse. Therefore, we will have 902 over 530. This will give you 1.7, and that's the cosine of 85.
Here's a real-life example where you can apply the law of cosines when three sides are given. An architect is planning on building a monument in the shape of a triangle. He wants to form a triangle with the sides A equals 8, B equals 6, and C equals 7. Find the angles of the given triangle. For this example, we're going to solve for the angle C. What you do is that you just plug in the values of each side into the corresponding letters and you just solve for the equation. And if you get a value bigger than 0.5, you round it to the nearest decimal place, and if not, you leave the first number you have. The equation equals to 8 squared plus 6 squared minus 7 squared divided by 2 times 8 times 6. The answer will give you 0.53125. Now we want to get the angle C by putting in the calculator cosine to the -1. You do this by clicking the shift button and then the cosine button. The answer will give you 57.9 degrees, which rounds up to 58. But be careful, this is not the only angle we can get. We can get a second angle that you can get by subtracting 58 to 360, which will give you 302 degrees. But the second angle is not possible to use because we need an angle smaller than 180 degrees, so we work with the first one. You repeat the same step with the other angles.